Hi everyone, I'm Grahtles, and welcome to a new episode of City Skylines. This is the one tile challenge by the City Planner Plays, and I'm not really in for the competition, it's over. It's just more for fun. So if you don't know what I do Let's Plays, tutorials, tips, tricks on City Skylines, and if you like what you see, like, subscribe, comment, and share. So E6Gsy made the map. The last two episodes I did not include that, and it's the most amazing map. I would love to do another city on here and actually expand on it. So yeah, it's an awesome map. Thank you, E6Gsy. And the last time we left off, we kind of did some more residential, and the premiere I did, Valleyladgaming suggested detailing, and he'd love to detail this map. So I threw him my map and said, go ahead and detail, do whatever you want. So if you don't know who Valleyladgaming is, he's one of my subscribers, and he's also another content creator. And he took this over and did an amazing job. He put in a bunch of walking paths, and he decorated the high school, and it just looks phenomenal. So I will leave a link in the description below. He actually did an episode on it, and if you want to check out the episode with him detailing, go right ahead. And before we get started, I'll just give you a little overview of what he did. So here's the walking paths. He added trees, and then down over in here there was a lot of empty space in between these houses, so he added a little bit more walking paths. Then he went around and he decorated the roundabouts and the farm. He just added some paths to the farm because I have a lot more expansion to do on there. And he just really filled in the area nicely. But my favorite thing he did was the high school. The high school looks phenomenal. He did the walking paths with the trees, and it just looks amazing. So today's episode, I have a lot planned, so let's go ahead and get into this. So my original plan for this was to do a city center, and I did not have City Hall unlocked, and I really wanted City Hall in my city center. So I needed to run some transportation, because in order to unlock City Hall, I needed to have 3,000 people taking the transportation, public transportation. So, we don't have any buses anyway, so I decided it would be a great idea to run some public transportation anyway. So I did the Biofuel Bus Depot, and I put it in the empty space up on top there, and I'm just going to run a couple of bus routes and get these people moving around. So if anybody knows how the buses work, they come out in enormous amounts right off the bat as soon as you put a line in. So what I did was I ran the first loop first, and then started working on the farm, let those buses get out, and then I run some more routes later. So here I just wanted to add to the farm. The farm did level up, and that's what I did. I just added a lot more. We still had a huge demand for industry, so I tried to fulfill that with adding more assets and our worker barracks and the maintenance buildings and stuff. So yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and fill in this farm a little bit, and actually I do it quite a bit, not a little bit. So let's just get to it. So because Valley did such a great job, I did try to implement a little bit of what he did back into the build here. So I did put some walking paths back in and some trees. And, you know, it looks so nice when it's done like this, but I just tend to build and build and build and don't detail. I really have to take a little bit more time to stop and detail a lot more than what I do. So here we were having a little bit of an energy crisis, and so I decided to delete the coal power plant and just replace it with an oil power plant, and that did the job perfectly. So you don't need to keep adding, you could also just replace to keep up the maintenance cost of 2 instead of just 1 is a lot cheaper. Eventually I want to use clean energy, so I'll probably use the updrafts, but for now we don't have that and we don't have the budget for it, but eventually we will do clean energy. Next I just go in and fill in the rest of this area down in here. We had the space I did not fill in, so I just go ahead and just fill this in with residential and some commercial. We had a small demand for it anyway. So next I just start running the roads of where I want my city center to be. We don't get to the city center today, but we did do a lot. Believe me, stay to the end, you'll see how much we get done. So I go ahead and I upgrade these roads to the 6-lane. So I'm trying to use a little bit more of the hierarchy of roads. So I have these 6 lanes coming down each side, and then those branch off to the 4, and then those come off to the residential areas where there's 2. So yeah, just doing a little bit of planning out where I want the city center, and I thought right down the middle of the map, right in the center of the map, would be a great place to put a nice city center. So it's been a little time since we ran the first bus loop on the first residential area. So I decided to run the bus loop in this residential area now that we also filled in some of the demand. And then I go ahead and run the one going back and forth between the 2 residential areas. So next I take a look at the education, and we are desperately needing a university. So at first I wasn't going to put in a massive size university, but then I thought, I have the room, why not, we'll do it. And so I did. So we used the trade school from the university, DLC, and we start our own little trade school over here. So I have a bad habit of saying little. It's not going to be little. In fact, I already expanded on it as soon as I built it. So it's going to be quite large, but yeah, it's going to work. And I'm going to extend this probably with even sports. So it should be an interesting area. So I wasn't sure how to run the water over here because I don't have any roads, so I just go across the whole thing and thought, well, the city cut some corners, and if they have to rip down some dorms later on because of water problems, well, so be it. So here I look at the police academy, and building a university before, I kind of knew I was going to need more space. So that's why the expansion happened right off the bat. I have the room over here. So I think, it just makes more practical sense to just add to it. So I did just that. So I've never split up a university with the roads before. In sections like this, but it's done all the time. So I thought, this would be an interesting way of putting it. So I actually gonna try to put all the specialized schools over in here, like the media labs and the tourism and stuff like that, and the police academy, and on the other side I'll do like the cafeteria and the study halls and stuff like that. So another thing I'm known for is changing up the layout once I have every asset complete, and that is because when I first start and I get all the assets one at a time, I don't figure out what I want to do with them exactly until I get all the assets, and then I kind of rearrange them to fit better, if that makes sense. So I'm sure this layout will change, and I guess we'll see what happens in the future. So here's a little traffic check-in. I like to do this with all my cities. I like to show, just how it's flowing and see if there's any problem areas or anything, and so far so good. So now that I had the bus depot on the other side of this, I thought over here would be a good place to put a post office. So I wanted the sorting center as well as the post office, and this is quite large, this sorting center. So just for space, I was just kind of looking over where I wanted to put it, and I wanted to lay it in so I can put in a street just perfectly. So I actually put it up against here and then run the road and change it over facing the other way. So I'm not gonna lie, I've been itching to do high density since we unlocked it with the milestone. So that is just what I'm going to do. So I'm gonna extend this 6-lane down, and I'm gonna build us some high density down on this end. So I thought it would look pretty cool coming in, and you have the low density and the farm, and then you're gonna have this explosion of tall buildings down in here. So yeah, let's go ahead and see how it goes. So I'm going to go ahead and put a district on this because I want to have really tall IT buildings, and as you can see, I stink at paint. Everybody knows, and I don't know why I can't stick to that street. I don't know why it always bucks off the street for me. I don't know why. But anyway, I want IT buildings in here, so I want them to be super tall. I don't care if it's unrealistic. It's just what I wanted to do. So I go ahead and put on the IT so we get nice tall office buildings. And it's a good thing I built a university, because we need some education to get these offices up and running too. So yeah, I'm super excited about putting in these big tall IT buildings. So in here I'm just doing a simple grid. I have the 6 lanes on the outside, I have some 4 lanes on the other sides, and inside here I'm going to do some 2 lanes for residential. I'm going to do 1 commercial road down the middle, and I'm basically not building on the 6 lanes. If you noticed, I'm keeping the traffic off the 6 lanes. I might put some unique buildings, maybe something like that in them, but I really don't want a lot of traffic on them. So here I run down a commercial avenue right down the middle, and then I'll have the IT buildings on either side, and then I'll run the residential in between those two. Next I go ahead and start zoning, and then I'm going to start running water. Here I did the same thing. I cut some corners with running the water, but whatever. After this, you'll be amazed at how much my milestones go crazy. Here we hit big city, population 5,500. Next we go ahead and add some services. So we need police, medical, fire, schools, and definitely parks. Grand City, population 6,000. So our farm leveled up, so let's go down there and see what we want to do. So I would say our farm is looking pretty complete now. So we just hit capital city, population 7,500. So here's a little overview of everything we did. It was a great episode for me. I feel like I got so much done. Some of these buildings, the way they came in, they're very repetitive. I also might add some unique buildings to this, the taller ones, and see how it goes. I may box this in. I'm not really sure where I'm going with it, but I do like it. So we did the high density, we finished the farm, we started a college. We did so much. So I'm super excited for the next episode. Not sure where we're going. I know we're going to do more high density. I think I might do a fishing village. I know I want to do a zoo, an amusement park. I want to do so much. So I have a lot of ideas. But I'm going to leave this episode off here. and I'll just let it run for a little bit so you can see everything. And don't forget, if you like what you see, like, subscribe, comment, share. I would love for you to join me, and yeah, I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.